Coming from the true space, we ain't entertaining neighbors. I don't give a fuck what you say. Found the universal coochie, planting seeds and birds fruit. Now I'm really looking juicy. Welcome to the true space. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the true space. Welcome to the true space. Yeah, bitch, welcome to the true space.
Alright. You can hear me good now, right? Okay, cool. Sweet. Alright. What's good, y'all? My name is Open Book. This is my partner.
Hey guys, this is Herth. Welcome back to Truspace.
Yep. And we're breaking down Venus moving into Virgo and hitting all rising signs. So look up for your rising signs and we'll delineate how all of this is hitting you. Well, let's start out with just the general energy of Venus moving into Virgo, leaving Leo now. How do you think this is going to hit all of us?
Right now, Virgo, since we're in Virgo season right now, Venus going to Virgo, we're gonna get to see what Venus been up to this entire time, since Venus been into Aries and going through this entire cycle through below the horizon signs all the way to Virgo, starting with Aries, and then Aries allowed us to develop a vision and imagination which we could love and desire, but that's very hard for Venus, since Venus likes something to hold on to, and Aries is ruled by the fire element, dealing with the imagination, vision. And then Venus went to Taurus, its home, and Venus liked that, being in its stable, grounding reality, based upon what we took on Aries, the energy we built it there, and now in Taurus we were stabilizing it based upon where we're putting all our love matters. And then in Gemini, Venus went after developing its value, stability, its hardness, with the acceleration energy of Uranus in Taurus to accelerate what is loving and it's desiring. Venus was demanded to uphold something higher, something that's for society, something for a higher idea that could benefit groups. Then Venus went to Gemini, allowing us to develop more information, become more curious, learn how to put words into what we love and explaining what we desire in. This Venus almost becoming the jack of all trade when it comes to speaking what she liked into. And then Venus went home. Venus got comfort when it comes to home. Venus wanted to really feel what means the most to you under the opposition of Pluto and Capricorn, making you face integrity of the structure, the business that you need to initiate. Then Venus went into Leo, allowing you to go on the stage, express all these energies that you were building in the personal signs against the Aquarius and Saturn energy, the society, the structure, understand the importance of associating ourselves, while Venus is making us get lost in our desire to express ourselves, but also share the stage with other people. But now Venus is in Virgo. It's the time for us to harvest all these energy we're building to see whether we're bullshitting or not, essentially. And this is like practicalizing things and becoming hard in Venus, and Venus is debilitated here. So this is the time to show no love to Venus and make it like work hard, if you kind of understand what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. And you see how it's a fall type energy, especially coming from Leo, where Venus was allowed, even encouraged to be selfish, and encouraged to be individualistic with how you're creating relationships, and now you're bringing balance to your life in general, to your physical assets and to your relationships, and all centered around your individual way of expressing yourself, creatively expressing yourself, and the things that you want and you pay attention to. But for you to be in that energy, it's funny how it leads into Virgo or with that fall, because you have to be of service. You have to work to uphold that energy that Venus was in Leo, where Venus would be indulging, Venus is entertaining, and Venus is having fun and all of that. And then if you're planting the right seeds with Venus and Leo, and being honest with that energy and genuinely balancing it, not trying to overindulge and seek too much into pleasures and enjoyments, but you're understanding that what it is that you enjoy, to value fun and enjoyment, to really appreciate the aspects in your life, that your hobbies, your children, the things that bring you joy in your life, that all represent flowing that Leo sign. It's funny how now you have to go and take that into being service, where now you have to, this is like rolling up the sleeves. It's like, okay, I have fun, But now I have to roll up the sleeves and do the dishes. I have to roll up the sleeves and do the work. I have to sacrifice fun in an aspect in order to have fun. And this is the realization that Venus is going through right now, which is a fall. Especially coming from Leo, where it was like you're in that energy. Now you have to roll up your sleeves and not. It's going to be harder to appreciate things. You know, it's going to be harder to balance things when you're working now. Now it's about daily routines and habits. Now it's about being of service. Venus doesn't want to be of service. Venus wants to be served too. Venus is the princess, the empress. It wants to be brought these things and then balance them within the world. You know, she's about working with the world, but now she has to go and till the ground herself. Now she has to go and roll up the sleeves to ensure that she can now still have the fun and enjoyment, and she's working in a cooperative way. Venus often doesn't like making the compromises, you know, and this is, and within us, this is your wants, this is the things that you love and appreciate. You don't have, these are your assets, your values. These are never things that you want to compromise. But then what type of fruits do you manifest with that? How much roadblocks do you manifest with that? Are you worried about your assets now? Is there more worry and struggle, more opposition? You know, you feel like to uphold these things, to defend these things, it's taking away your time. You don't have enough time to go and do these things. You don't have enough energy to go and do these things. Maybe you're planting it all in the wrong areas, and you're gonna expect a fall. You're gonna expect it to be hard to be appreciative with Venus in its fall. It's gonna be hard to balance, to create relationships, because we're so, Virgo's gonna make it so easy to be cynical. So you may even be looking at your own positions and being cynical. You're gonna be looking at your own relationships and being cynical in a way, or it's gonna be so much easier to be in that energy instead of appreciative. You know, you're gonna be cynical about your work. You're gonna be cynical about what you're in service to and what end it's going towards. When you really don't want to be in that energy, you want to value and appreciate these things. But it's gonna be so easy to get into that nitpicking energy, that uncompromising energy, making it really hard for you to accept less than what it is that you want. But you're gonna have to be, Venus and Leo was making you learn what you want, and you're shining that light out to see how the world is. Now this is the compromising aspect in terms of the work that you have to do for what you want. And don't run away from those frustrations. Don't run away from when it's hard to connect with people on that level, because you're being exposed and shown what you need to do or be in service of to uphold those values, in order to maintain balance in your relationships. You may come into a lot of information about your relationships with Venus and Virgo now too, where you're starting to make sense out of all of that. It's like, oh, I feel this way every time I hang out with this nigga, or every time I'm with this nigga, somehow I'm short $20, or somehow my money is a little bit lower. You're starting to make sense out of your relationships and what they lead up to, and how they work out, and how they're playing out in your day-to-day base. All your relationships and how you organize them in your life, and what they're preventing you from organizing your life. Not even just your relationships, the things that you own, the things that you love, the things that you entertain, how this takes up your schedule, and whether you need to bring more balance to that, that needs more restructuring.
Like Venus represents your hormonal system, and since your hormones is what allows you basically every time you deal with something dealing with physical reality, there's some form of hormonal response which make you physically attached to these things. This is why the hormonal system deals with Taurus, and the moon is exalted there. But since right now we're dealing with Venus, and Venus in Virgo, Virgo's our digestive system. So Virgo says it deals with this quality of breaking and digesting things down. You will become much more aware of how your hormones is getting attached to those small details and routines that make you experience the negative side of Venus energy, which is the star inverted down the back of it. And now this is where you become a slave to your desire. So Venus and Virgo, this is the time for you really almost like a key word with Virgo is optimization, because Virgos have this mind of forever optimizing whatever they're doing, which is kind of fucked up journey. But
Yeah.
that optimization through long period of time is what lead into what they desire the most, perfection. And then you can say, well, this is what Venus is gonna experience right now. Virgo's gonna make sure Venus is being perfected. Venus not flunked out. Venus is going taking is doing its diet. Venus is exercising. Venus is making sure it's detoxing and things of that nature. Because a lot of us, we don't realize how much Venus energy that we utilize every day, how much things that we say we love, appreciate. You might even realize that you have a love issue with everything, or you may not be intelligent with how you utilize the concept of love. So Venus and Virgo is gonna make you view things from this broad practical point of view, so you could understand how love could be in service to everybody.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're so right about that. The optimization type aspect, and I see it playing out on two levels, like playing it out and like in the emotional exchange. Because just like what you're right, we don't realize how much we utilize Venus. Venus being connected to the money, and just the exchange of energy and resources in general. So when you're exchanging emotions and feelings with other people, Venus is right there playing a key. When you're exchanging money, there's all feelings and different types of shit being there. So Venus is right there. So you're so right, and it's optimizing that exchange. So now that's why maybe Virgos maybe and you know you can get lost in the Venus falling in the Virgo, or, you know, maybe get a little bit too destructive or a little bit too analytical. But you goddamn right, with that Virgo energy, they're not gonna be dealing with stupid relationships, or they're not gonna compromise on something that's fucking up the optimization process, if you get what I mean. So Venus going in Virgo, it's gonna make you a smarter, more analytical person in terms of relationships. So you're gonna be seeing the making sense and practicalizing your relationships and be better at relationships. You're not gonna go into get into relationships until you see that it's going to work towards some end. You're not going to get into relationships unless it's something that you want to be of service of. You're not going to just go and be of service of and go and be trying to obtain some practicality, you know, for nothing. You're going to be much more of an intelligent, and this is why Venus doesn't like it, because Venus is like, I just want to be friends with everybody. I just want to eat everything. I have to diet. I have to go on the treadmill. No, I just want to go and do all of that. But when Venus goes on the diet, that's what keeps Venus the supermodel. That's what keeps Venus desirable. That's what makes Venus, when it goes into Libra and it's like, hey, what's going on? That's what catches everybody. That's what catches the eyes. This is what makes it so, oh, I want to, let me be your friend, or let me get with you. It's that whole Virgo process of perfecting that and refining the relationship aspect. Now it's really time to refine how you get into relationships, how you manage yourself in relationships, how you work towards the best end in relationships. Because obviously the opposition with Pisces and Neptune and in Pisces there, the opposition to all of that is getting too much into illusions, getting too much into your imaginations of how relationships should be, on how the dream way of how this would play out. And you can get so fucking lost, Venus exalted over there, you can get so lost in that realm of reality and not work with what's there, not work with what you are being given. So this is really forcing you to work with what's being given. And if you don't like what you have to work with, now you know how you need to switch up your daily routine. And it can play on the other hand, make you a smarter business person, make you exchange your resources on a smarter level. Maybe Venus and Leo, you was going spending a little bit too much, and now you realize that you don't have the funds to go and sustain the hobbies, the fun and entertainments that you need. So Venus is like, oh shit, I need to organize myself better. I need a job. I need to work harder so that I can go and continue going fun. Even though I don't like this, I understand that I have to manage this more. So now you may learn how to be more frugal with your resources in the effort of you having more for you to go and spend, for you to go and have fun with, for you to go and entertain yourself with. So, you might have to not entertain yourself, aka not buy that resource, not buy that thing, or maybe not now. You're starting to manage and optimize how you're doing that thing in order for you to for you to buy what you really want, or for you to buy it later. You're not going to buy it now so that you can buy it later and not have to worry about your resources running out and stuff like that.
Because you gotta understand that your love matter, what your desires and what you indulge in is gonna dive deeper and deeper into your social life, and it's walking towards where your public life is. So you gotta be careful and make sure that you do the transformation and the work with Venus and Virgo. So when Venus goes into Libra, you connect with the people in your social life, and then when Venus goes into Scorpio, that you don't experience any things dealing with back behind the scene, people stabbing you in the back, enemies, other people resources, because you did the work in while Venus was in Virgo. And then when Venus goes in its debilitation Scorpio, especially under the Uranus influence too, you're not head heavy. So and then when Venus goes into Sagittarius, you understand why you did all this work in Virgo and understand the meaning and reasoning, and you can see things from like God point of view.
Yeah, yeah, hands down. You have overall understanding of your relationships in a clear perspective, because you went through all of those trials. For
But
sure.
also, since being started in Aries, and right now it's in the harvest season, so you guys got to see where love lead us literally. So like right now being in Virgo season, if you don't see what your love matter leads into, you should like take your time and correct these things before we go above the horizon and like waste your entire year.
Yep. Yep, I bet Venus in Aries by now, Venus in Aries, you thought, oh, this is a great investment. Oh, this relationship's gonna work out. Oh, this is gonna be But by now, you're seeing the reality of that, of whether that was true. Was that a good investment? Or did that relationship lead up into what you thought it was gonna lead up to? Now it's the time where you're really getting the receipts of all of that. Now it's the time where you're really starting to see what had manifested at this point, the transit.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll just start from Aries. So yeah, for Aries rising, Venus and Virgo is in your sixth house. How do you think this alignment is going to hit the person?
So Aries rising right now, you guys gonna experience love, desires, and even a relationship, and learn how to be practical about these things when it comes to the area of work, service, routines, patterns, also health. Especially Aries rising, you're spending a lot of energy through your nervous system as you're ascended to dealing with your physical constitution, and a lot of us don't realize how much neurological energy that we spend every day. So I feel like Aries rising, you guys may become highly aware of how you utilize your love matters, your hormonal system, in your area of work, routines, and how can you become better at these things so you could develop a better ways of expressing energy, since Virgo might teach you how to be much more conservative while you learn how to work on your personality, if you will, because right now you're harvesting all these things dealing with your love matter right now, so you will get to see like how these things are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And kind of putting you in the seat, and it may be a little bit awkward because it's working towards, this is in your sixth house, so it's working towards your seventh house, so it's starting to get more social, but you including more people, so it's having you value and appreciate how you work and the best way that you can organize and position yourself, because the more you, Aries rising, once you get that down, once you start going into your relationship aspects, you're not compromising your individuality as much because you understand how you work. You understand, you developed your own schedule and system that you can really value and appreciate and really stick to, that you can see the beauty in, that you can see the love in, that you can really value and appreciate. So now It's helping you work with others a lot more, which is a little bit hard because you like doing it dolo. You like going at it at solo most of the times. But really now it's having you value and appreciate collaborative work in one. You being able to schedule and organize your relationships in a lot more efficient and beneficial way. It's like you are dealing with your relationships in a much more efficient way. You're dealing with how you exchange your energy in a much more efficient way. And it may feel a little bit weird because it's forcing you to step outside of your comfort zone, and you to incorporate a lot more, maybe more patience, more hands-on type things, more not knowing, more having to work through something, and it may be a slow process, and you want to, the Aries Rising wants to go through it fast. So it may be a slower process, but you're going to have to learn to value and appreciate the slower process. Value, appreciate breaking down things to their core components. Um, and this is going to help you understand how to direct your Aries energy way more efficiently, and how you to make it work, how you to make it efficient. And just like we're here with the same, for you to direct that fire energy without it being diminished. And that's Aries Rising. Taurus Rising, you have Venus in Virgo moving in your fifth house, entering your fifth house. So how do you think this is gonna
So
hit them?
this is the time for you guys, Taurus is rising, to have fun, but this is like practical fun because Venus moving to your fifth house, but also it deals with your social life, children, creativity. So I say this is a time for Tauruses, since they deal with stability, value, being dry, money, position. It's time for them to focus and love their way of expressing themselves, entertaining themselves, but learn how to be practical about it and be detail orientated too, because that would create opportunity for people to get to know you deeper in your social life. Since you're a Taurus and you like to be much more seclusive to what makes you feel comfortable, and then Venus representing love and relationships, you might meet very practical people who might be able to help you move that fixated stability, or they might see you and they might know where you fit in as a Taurus rising, because the Virgo optimization nature, and then Venus representing relationships, they might you might find the person who might put you in the perfect place within your social life essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Definitely see that. With Taurus, it looks like having Virgo in your fifth house, you really have fun and creatively express yourself through work, through being of service. With Taurus rising, you're interested in having resources. That's what you're personally interested in, and feeling secure and stable. But you have fun and enjoyment when you make sense out of these practicalities, where you see where they end up to and where they go to, and you utilizing that. You being of service and making things make sense is really how you have fun. So Venus is really having you value and appreciate how you work. Maybe you're not connecting that fun aspect to your work, and you don't realize that you making sense out of things, you making things work in areas that they didn't, really brings you fun, really brings you joy. So now Venus entering is going to put you in these relationship situations that make you realize that making sense out of things like that, putting things together and fixing things, or having a understanding of how things work and operate, is a very fun and fulfilling thing for you, and an outlet for you to creatively express yourself. So you'll have either people, places, or things really coming into your life, forcing you to value these things, forcing you to make relationships, and start relationships, whether it be a person, place, or thing, that makes you make sense out of your fun and enjoyment. That makes you make sense out of what draws your attention, what makes you catch your eye, and really make sense out of that in a practical way. You practicality is how you have fun. Practicality is how you express yourself, and now you'll be able to have relationships or fix and make sense out of the relationships that either hold you back or help facilitate that. And that's Taurus Rising, Gemini Rising. You have Venus and Virgo in your fourth house. So how do you think this is hitting Gemini
So you
Risings?
guys love, matter, and desires. Is focused on achieving some form. You're achieving. You're trying to achieve some form of practical love when it comes to your area of your home, family. Since you're a Gemini rising, you like to communicate, but sometimes you like to be superficial. Sometimes you could be seen as two-faced and things of that nature. But you're personally into communicating. A lot of people in your family, home life may not understand these things, but that's the tension that you need to realize the importance of life. Geminis, they like to roam within the mind, which play out physically as them roaming around people to communicate, and later on in life they realize they roam around just to look for what a home, which is what comes after Gemini. Cancer. So Venus being in Virgo is making you realize how to express love, desires in a practical way when it comes to your home, and that squares the learning opportunities that you need to ground yourself as an air-headed person into your physical life, or your home life, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really is grounding, yeah, because being personally interested in pushing out all these ideas and thoughts, it makes sense that you're gonna feel more secure and comfortable when you're able to keep up with the thoughts that you're pushing out with the receipts, with the making sense out of things. And it's going to the pushing out these thoughts, you being personally interested is what's going to create a little bit of challenge in your home life, or establishing comfortability in an area where you're kind of still mixing with other people when there's a level of vulnerability that is there. So you making sense out of those vulnerabilities, you making sense about how you feel about yourself, you making sense out of your home environment right now, taking center stage, and then Venus is moving in, adding that desire for balance, for love and appreciation. So your challenge is to really figure out how to make sense out of home so that you can value, love, and appreciate it, and create a new way of looking at home that is very beneficial, or that's very in a positive sense, where you can start bringing balance, where there's room for growth and nurturing in the home life. So it's not stopping you from expressing yourself as an individual, for you being your Gemini rising self, but instead it's helping you really make sense out of having your home life be an area where you can kind of analyze the thoughts that you have putting out there before you go to the social world. You're expressing those ideas and thoughts and curiosity in your home, um, is really going to help you analyze what you're personally interested in, your personal interests, and whether they lead. It's going to show you, when you look at home, you're going to really see the practicality of these things, and you maybe even how work affects your home life, and how you establish comfortability. You're going to start having more relationships that show you these things, that help you make sense out of your home life and domestic issues, where maybe you have relationships that gives you a new perspective, or you have relationships that help you assess, make sense out of, help you work and organize your daily routine, organize your home, organize your room, organize things in a more practical demeanor, so that they don't get involved with your personal interest, or conflict your personal interests as much. So with Cancer rising, Venus in Virgo is passing through your third house. So how is this playing out?
So you guys are personally into initiating and giving birth to feelings, emotions, and connecting with the people to the point that makes people feel uncomfortable due to the fact that guys are reacting due to your own comfort zone, and Jupiter is exalted there, so you guys naturally want to expand out of your own comfort zone, but you guys reflect that comfort zone with people, so it looks like you guys flunked out. But Venus going through your third house is making you highly aware of the way you express your emotion and how does it affect people within your immediate surroundings, because your immediate surrounding is going to be the way you're going to receive love, but also relationship through the lens of Virgo practicality, what makes sense. So Cancers, right now you guys going to see maybe better ways of how you guys could receive love in a practical way from your surroundings, really, so you guys don't be so lost within your own emotions, and then meet people who's going to help you digest these emotions that you want to express better.
For sure. Yeah, for Cancer Rising, the center stage is your surroundings, your siblings, your neighbors, the everything that is immediately close to you, the mentalities that you have. Um, so making sense out of your surroundings is really creating opportunities for easier emotional expression, just like what you were saying, and organizing your surroundings, making sense out of the surroundings that you have is gonna allow you to be more emotional. It's gonna allow you to free up your emotional nature for you to go and express yourself kind of and earnestly, because you being so sensitive, it really helps you making sense out of your surroundings. So now you're gonna have relationships or possessions or something that you're buying that's really gonna show you, oh, I need to have my surroundings organized. My surroundings have to lead to some sort of practicality. There has to be practicality in my surroundings, or else I'm personally gonna be a little bit flunked out. It's gonna float more of that emotional side of you. So the center stage is really your surroundings and making sense out of your surroundings, organizing your surroundings, making your surroundings work efficiently towards you and your relationships. And your relationships is going to be the catalyst for this, showing you that your surroundings. Maybe it's a person that encroaches into your surroundings and making you realize, oh, I need to put more work and effort into these surroundings, be of service, clean up more, do all of this, these type of things, in order for you to bring more balance to that area of your life.
And you guys are gonna learn how, basically, since you guys are rising as Cancer, so it's ruled by the lymphatic immune system, and you guys having Venus in your third house, you guys are gonna be highly aware of the air and what's happening in your surroundings, and how does it affect your lymphatic immune system, your ability to attack pathogen and protect yourself. Since you're already Cancer, you're highly emotional, but you're gonna get to see the reactive nature within your immediate surroundings. You're not gonna even have to go far out to see how far you get flunked. You're gonna see it like right there. It's almost like a wake up call.
Hands down. Hands down, I still see that. So that's Cancer Rising. Looking at Leo Rising. Leo Rising, you have Virgo, a Venus and Virgo passing through your second house.
So that's
How do you think
so
this
this
is
is gonna be
hitting?
a square. This is gonna be a learning opportunity for you guys, and you guys are personally to having fun and entertaining yourself. Sometimes being delusional, but you guys are willing to share the stage with other people. But having Venus going to your second house in Taur, second house in Virgo, that's almost like I like to have too much fun, but now I know where my fun got me. Now I need to be practical with my love matters, my desires, my relationship. I gotta make sure they have some form of service, some form of routines. They are healthy. I could digest them, and they could help me deal with the area of money, possession, self-esteem, earning abilities, and things of that nature. The better you guys are at digesting these things and developing routines that patterns of stability, the more you're gonna feel better when it comes to your personality, expressing what's on your heart. Since you already developed your hormonal system, now you could express what's on your heart.
Yeah, for sure. And you can see it where Leo's shining their light, and that's their personality. Them just express it creatively, expressing themselves. where they would find lapse in self-confidence, and where they would find stability is the practicality that ensues from that emotional expression. So if you're not having that area right, you're not going to feel confident in yourself. You're not going to feel your own self-worth, and it's going to be hard to trust. So it's really about making sense out of those creative expressions. For you to turn on that analytical side, um, especially in terms of your relationships, and really make sense out of the things that you have, really making sense out of your self-worth, and being and analyzing these things. So now relationships are going to come into your life that make you make sense out of what is stable, make sense of what you see as value. And this again, like just like what you said, free up that creative expression, because what you value actually makes sense and leads to something practical. So you don't have to worry about that as much, and that's going to be highlighted through your relationships, or your relationships with physical things, your purchases, the things that you come into in those terms is really going to show you your self-worth and how you've been making sense out of your self-worth, whether you've been too worried or too cynical about your self-worth, or whether you've actually allowed enough openness for you to work towards an end, towards that self-worth and in your resources and obtaining stability. So that's going to be a huge thing for Leo risings. So Virgo rising, you have this going on in your first house. Virgo or Venus is in your passing through Virgo in your first house. How do you think they're going to be hit by this?
You guys, Virgo Rising. You guys are personally into analyzing and being practical, but you guys into analyzing and being practical and perfecting one thing, your personalities, and you guys get to see all the wrong details, all the flawedness wrong with you. So Venus hitting your rising, that's almost like a time for you to love yourself and to realize what you really need to spend your time, energy, appreciate, nurture is yourself through practicality. There's no one better to show a love to a Virgo than a Virgo to show love to himself.
Absolutely no way. Absolutely no way. A Virgo knows just how, exactly what to do, or for that self-love aspect. And it's so important, because it can very much get overwhelming, especially with this transit Venus going through there, where Venus falls. So whereas Venus being in other areas may have helped or uplift, now it's kind of making it hard for you to, or it's introducing that challenge to remind you, to show you maybe where you neglect self-care, where maybe your relationships don't make sense, or they're hard to balance, and exposing that aspect of how you haven't been taking care of yourself, and how you haven't been valuing and appreciating the things that you're personally interested into, which is analyzing and making sense out of things. You're not your work life isn't balanced, you're not making feeling of service to things, and it's making you maybe a little bit more cynical. It's making you not want to be around people, maybe even. Remember that the self-work and the self-love is ordered so that you can provide for the world in a healthy manner, not so you just can go and seclude and retreat into yourself. So as that relationship or that possession is shining the light on your personality and how you make sense out of your personal desires, don't let that scare you back into hermit mode. Take take it as it comes, and if it's helping you or giving you clues on how to produce better fruit, you better get on that. And that's Virgo risings. Looking at Libra, Venus in Virgo is passing through your 12th house, Libra risings. So how do you think this is hitting them?
So there's gonna be, you guys are personally into initiating and giving birth to communication, harmony. You guys are not like the other air signs that purely deal with logic, Geminis, they like to analyze logic, and while Libras, they love and appreciate ways of thinking and logic, but their thinking itself, it deals with the relationship, so it's hard to view them as one of those purely intelligent air signs that's just up to thinking, like Aquarius or Gemini. So right now, you guys, the Libra rising and experience Venus and Virgo going through your 12th house. Man, that's almost making you guys realize uh, how can you guys spend more love, appreciation when it comes to uh, your subconscious mind. Understand how to practicalize these things, create routines, patterns, understand how your personality leads to what is up inside your subconscious mind, because what you initiate eventually has an ending, has like a conclusion to it. And then Venus, this is like is exalted there. You're going to see all your dreams, illusions, imagination, but it's practical. So you deal with these things from a practical perspective. That's a really awake a time for Libras to realize that their subconscious mind might be haunting them and figure out practical ways to go about it. Understand that my subconscious mind needs to be in service to me than the other way around.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I feel bad for Libra Rising sometimes because they just have their whole house system flipped into opposition. So a lot of aspects or energies play out in areas of life that they're opposite to, which definitely always presents itself as a challenge. So it being in your 12th house, it's like you're having to make sense out of your dreams and your subconscious mind, and so much of your subconscious mind is you know practicality and things that make sense, or the things that you want to be of service to directly lead into your personality and why you're so sociable. But Venus passing over here is really showing you the relationships and what to value out of your subconscious mind. But it's going to be a little bit hard because it's Virgo in the 12th house, so it's in an area where you're trying to make sense out of your dreams and illusions and the collective feelings, your influences, when not all of these things necessarily make sense. So it's going to be kind of a struggle because you're learning how to value and appreciate things that don't necessarily always make sense, but you're going to have to appreciate them and value them anyway because this is your subconscious mind. So teaching you how to have a more of a light-hearted aspect, how to create relationships that connect to subconscious aspects, so that they can help aid your first house, your Libra aspect, so you can initiate conversations and you can be, the icebreaker, the friendly person, the person that brings people together. In order for you to get to that part, you really have to have your dreams on some type of ground, and your relationships are really going to help you do that with this transit, and learning how to value and respect, value and appreciate making sense out of your dreams, or understanding your dreams and analyzing your dreams. Maybe you're gonna have a lot of dreams. Maybe you literally need to analyze, or have dreams that you can go and interpret it and get information from. But the area of life is really gonna be in your subconscious. It's going to be in your dream world, where you're learning how to value and appreciate work and making sense out of things. So with Libra and your ascendant, you're probably not necessarily trying to make sense out of your subconscious things just yet. But that aspect, or that focus on your relationships, are really going to, or learning how to balance your subconscious mind. You'll see that it frees up that individual expression. And that's Libra in the 12th. I mean Libra risings. So Scorpio rising, we have Venus and Virgo traveling through your 11th house. How do you think this is gonna play out?
So it's gonna be a square. So you guys are personally into being fixated, rooted, and determined when it comes to the feelings, emotions, certain vulnerabilities, and you guys are personally like to stay behind the scene to the point that nobody knows you guys personally and things of that nature. But Venus going to your 11th house. This is time for you to experience love, appreciation, but through the practical lens of Virgo, where it comes to your friends, groups, relationships, your associations. So right now, Venus and Virgo, as a Scorpio rising, I see you experiencing the love that go through learning opportunities that you need through relationships and what you love, but it's gonna get you what you need when it comes to your associations. But you're gonna have to go through the square, the tension with Aquarius, learning how to communicate and being logical and get off the water and things of that nature. But it's gonna make you understand how do you harvest and how does it end up, how do you end up accumulating who you accumulate in the area of your 11th house, essentially based upon your personality and how much do you like to stay behind the scene or keep certain things behind the scene and certain things not, depending on your personal issues and things of that nature.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And having that in your 11th house, this is how you be your social world and how you associate with people at large. So with Scorpio risings, this could be like a hard area, or that social realm, that social dynamic, because it gets so intense and volatile. But you'll find that you interact with your social life works way more better when you make sense out of these associations, or if you are in service, to in the social world, if you get what I mean, especially with Scorpio risings. Yeah, like what you're saying, with behind the scenes. Scorpios often don't realize that social aspect, or how connected they are to other people. So really making sense out of their social life, making sense out of the causes that they support, especially with Venus traveling over here, it's making them balance their how they make sense out of their social life. It's making them balance, which may even lead you, if you're planting the negative seeds, maybe you get a little bit more cynical against your associations, maybe a little bit more cynical and judgmental of your social life and and the causes that you are a part of, which you don't want to get into that side of it. You want to have Venus and Virgo help you value and appreciate what makes sense out of your social life and the practicality that leads from your social life. So right now you might be finding a lot of relationships that make sense, that actually help you, maybe help you heal your social aspects, help you deal with other people and the social world in a lot lighter sense, especially when we're dealing with the 11th house, where there's a little bit of disconnecting, how you associate with people where there's less emotion involved. It's going to help you see the practicality of connecting with people even when there's less emotion involved, because Scorpio ascendant, you don't want to deal with some fluffy shit that doesn't have any meaning, that doesn't have any depth to it. But once Venus is helping you make sense out of your social life and your social world, you're starting to value and appreciate your friends more, value and appreciate being in groups more, and seeing the practicality that these can lead to. So really focus on that this transit. So that's Scorpio ascendant. Sagittarius ascendant, you have Venus and Virgo traveling through your 10th house. So how is this playing out for them?
So Sagittarius, you guys are personally into expressing visions, imagination, but this through this broad ways of seeing reality. AKA, you guys like to be spiritual. You guys deal with philosophy. You guys, Sagittarius ascendant, do not like to deal with reality whatsoever. whatsoever, not even their physical body.
Nah.
So Venus going through the 10th house right now. That might be uh, a lot of Sagittarius rising, they're gonna need that because a lot of us don't understand how our personality, being so reckless, restless, leads into nothing but delusion and people looking at us as a bunch of retarded people. So Venus is making us really appreciate and desires how we're seen by the public. I understand that we have a status, a part of reality that is important. A lot of Sagittarius, they develop this understanding that could allow them to detach about reality and not give a fuck about it completely. But right now, we're gonna need to give meaning and reasoning to Venus. Venus being Venus and Virgo being in our 10th house. We need to approach these things from a practical point of view. While Sagittarius, you personally like to be delusional, you like to be practical, so you might have difficulty with that Virgo energy coming up with broad-minded conclusions because you like to come with broad-minded conclusion about nothing and things of that nature. So this is a Sagittarius call to work. Really appreciate work. That's it.
Real talk. Real talk. And reminding you kind of like the more you are able to analyze and make sense out of things, it bolsters your status. It bolsters your positions in life. It bolsters, so now the personality that you're presenting with Sagittarius, that you're open to go and experience all of these things, but the practicality that it sues from those experiences that you have jumped to is really what's going to create your status. Is really what's going to lead to the responsibilities that you have to uphold. So learning how to value and appreciate the analytical process, making sense out of things, making sense out of the things that you are personally interested in, is going to help you obtain a better status in this world. It's going to help you obtain more stability, help you approach discipline with a much more beneficial idea. So right now, really utilize this energy right now. It's really going to help you value and appreciate discipline and structure and order a little bit more than you normally do. And when you do, Sagittarius rising, when you do value or make sense out of your responsibilities and work and be of service towards your position in the world and your status and what really works. Now you're not looked at as reckless anymore. Your energy flows, and now you're a trendsetter. You're kind of a leader. More of your philosophy hits home, and we can all get the receipts from that, and you will get to maintain your the status that you're playing out in the world. So right now, for sentence, the receipts that you accumulate is really going to play a role in your status and position in the world. So you really need to value and appreciate putting work into things, analyzing things, because it's going to bolster up your status in the world and make you feel and handle your responsibilities a little bit better. And if you fall into the negative side, you may become too cynical about your responsibilities. Or be too worried about your responsibilities, and it's not gonna let you be the Sag rising that you are. You're supposed to be open to all of these things, but if your analytical aspects is lacking, and it's making you value being a little bit more cynical right now, you may see that tack at your reputation. You may see that tack, or you're not as practical, or you're not leading to practicality. We're not going to look at you or respect you in the way that you actually desire. So don't try and be on that side of that energy. Capricorn rising now. You have Venus and Virgo going through your ninth house. How do you think this is hitting them?
Venus and Virgo, the ninth house. So you guys personally, you guys are into business, giving birth to something that makes sense. You guys are personally not into bullshit. You guys want to get straight into the point and become practical. And having Venus right going through your ninth house.
Yes,
Oh,
ninth
so
house.
Venus is gonna make you love and indulge in philosophy, wisdom, understanding of God, which might lead you into creating opportunities when it comes to how to approach your status better, or how people see you, because you're gonna take Venus and then put it through the lens of Virgo, and then understand wisdom philosophy through the lens of practical, what makes sense, which what Capricorn personally like. So they're gonna take all the details they're gonna develop from Virgo based upon what they love, and they're gonna indulge in, and it's gonna help them deal with their personality. They're gonna take that energy from the ninth house and work with their first house, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah, with that first house, you really value efficiency, practicality. You have a very ambitious personality, a very responsible personality. But you're really going to see the benefits of these, or when you start making sense out of, just like what you were saying, when you're making sense out of your experiences, of your spirituality, um, of you kind of bringing balance, and analyzing, and really breaking down and understanding your experiences and your spiritualities and the things that you have went through, is going to create this opening for you to be the responsible person that you are, for to lead to the high levels of efficiency that you value, that you're looking for, that is what you project out. You making sense out of your spiritual experiences, the spirituality, your moral systems, especially through your relationships, because Venus is passing through right now, and the things that you value about those experiences, the things that you value about your spiritual system. Really make analyzing these things and breaking them down is going to help you operate at a higher level of efficiency. It's going to help you um, build or have that foundational understanding of what really works and what makes sense. And it's going to help you feel more fulfilled, like there's more meaning in what you're doing on a day-to-day basis. Um, yeah. And that's Capricorn Rising. Aquarius Rising, you have this alignment going through your eighth house. Do you think this is hitting them?
Oh, so Aquarius, you guys are personally into associating yourself with like-minded people, and Venus going to your eighth house. You guys might feel it's hard to feel the love and relationship and what has value, but Virgo being in Venus in your eighth house is forcing you to be practical about what you love when it comes to the depth of how you truly feel, and like practicalize that, come up with some form of healthy routine to deal with it, because it squares you. That's gonna create a learning opportunity for your personality, so your personality could flow better, since Aquarius rules your meridian system. It deals with how energy circulates throughout your body. So if they deal with Venus, the hormone system, properly through Virgo, digesting what they keep behind the scene, then their energy could flow through their ascendant, what's rising, much more better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Aquarius Rising. A lot of times you overanalyze your insecurities and your deeper emotions. Probably since Aquarius Rising, such a desire for you to have knowledge, for you to be the most logical, for you to have that information and reservoir of knowledge that makes you likable, that makes you able to connect with like-minded people. Venus going through here is really going to challenge it, because Venus doesn't do good in the eighth house or in fucking Virgo. So it'll be a real challenge for Aquarius risings, um, especially to not bring up the cynical side, and maybe you would start to be cynical or worrying about your insecurities and vulnerabilities, and not really routinely hiding emotions, making it a habit to hide, or go back to those dark spaces, or focus on and analyze and your insecurities. Really, you're supposed to find the practicality, the real practical earth that is within your insecurities, so you can make sense out of them, so they can help you move forward. And this is you making sense out of your insecurities is what's going to make you have that likability, make you have the information that you're going to need for you to connect with like-minded people, and for you to be the humanitarian that you want to be. um, Venus is really going to show you in your relationships, force you in your relationships to um, not be cynical, or show you where you are being cynical about your vulnerabilities, and if that is leading to you making sense and organizing your vulnerabilities in the best productive way. You're going to have a relationship that really um, helps you delve into that. Or maybe it's a person, place, or thing that helps you make sense out of your vulnerabilities, so that you can be your Aquarius self. And that is Aquarius rising. Pisces rising, you have this going through your seventh house. Venus and Virgo going through your seventh house, Pisces rising. How do you think this
So
hits
you guys
them?
are personally into dreams, illusions, imaginations, and also escaping reality. So you guys are personally very invasive, but also like personally, people knows you guys for being spiritual and things of that nature. But having Venus going through your seventh house right now, this is a time for you guys to love, appreciate, indulge in the area comes to relationship, harmony, understanding, open enemies, and things of that nature. As a Pisces rising, you might be so lost within your own subconscious mind, or you are receiving certain feelings, emotions, and then you start giving meaning and reasons to things that take you to a whole nother world, and you forget other parts of your life. And then having now Venus in your seventh house, being at
Yeah.
home, being making you really have pay attention to that part of life, and like practicalize it. Understand that not everything has to be so mute when it comes to feelings and emotion. That relationships need work. They need a certain consistency when you apply that love and things of that nature. Pisces is gonna have to learn how to work on relationships and things of that nature during this transit.
Exactly. For Pisces rising, it's so easy to fall into the delusion or the imagination of how things should be and how you want things to be, that you may not often put that energy into your relationships. That physical groundwork, the analyzing how your relationships are going to come with the practical solutions of what you can do, and what the energy that you can push out to make things a little bit more harmonious. It's so easy to slip into the imaginative side and having these high standards, imagining people acting out in specific ways, even though that's not necessarily how they're working out. So yeah, this is going to be a tough transit, because Venus is opposing you right now. So it may not be as easy, or it seems like you know, balance and ease and pleasure is a little bit further than you like it to be. So it's going to be hard work. You having to work on your emotions and seeing the practicality in things. You know, you're gonna have to kind of have to come down and look at the mundane, and or do something on the day-to-day basis in terms to make sense, to make your relationships work. Maybe you're gonna have to be more analytical and look at the devil in the details, and learn how to value and appreciate looking at the devil in the details in order to bring balance to your relationships, and go about this in a positive way. Otherwise, you'll just get lost in your illusions and the way that you feel, and maybe these will get clouded. You won't have an accurate perception of what's going on in your relationships. So right now, Venus is really trying to have you organize your relationships in a very practical and efficient way. So really value the devil in the details right now. You know, really um, allow yourself to be analytical, even though it's going to cause this little strife. It's only going to help you better your relationships, make them more stronger. Now, because of that work that you had done and the honesty you see in yourself, your relationships help you stay on the ground. Your relationships help you understand practical reality. So you could be the floaty, dreamy Pisces that you wanted to be because you had done the work on your relationship aspect and communicated enough, understood enough, analyzed enough, practical enough, understanding yourself as an individual enough. In this little challenge, you trying to be yourself in your relationships, and maybe you see a little bit of opposition. Shows you that you need to practicalize your relationships a little bit more. So now that they work, you could be the Gemini Pisces, and they're gonna tell you if it's gonna work or it's not, and it's gonna be a more harmonious, practical way. It's not going to be, oh, that's not gonna work. End of story. They're gonna show you two by two. Oh, so that's the dream. Well, you could do this. Well, you could do that. You could do this. You could do that, and help you be practical. And now your relationships are working with you, not against you. So Pisces Rising, I think that's something you can focus on. And that is Venus and Virgo traveling through all these rising signs. So thanks for watching, y'all. Hit the like button and subscribe. Check out our Instagram, Truspace_. Check out our website, truspace.biz, and hit us up for some services if you really want to get in tune with all of these alignments, and if you want a more in-depth personal description of how this alignment is hitting you. Yeah.
Thank you guys for listening.
Yeah, for sure. Peace out, guys.